to ASCENT. Today, we take a look into the future to see what your divine masculine views as reality when y'all get together for the reunion in the future. That's right. You're gonna see how wonderful the mindset of your divine masculine is when they make it into union. So you can have hope. So you can have joy when you look forward, and when you think about that special time, you'll also know what your divine masculine is thinking, so that you can have a more complete picture of the reunion in the future. All right, so that's 3 times for that one, 3 times for this one, and then we will make the spread happen, and the knowledge and wisdom will start to flow. Yeah. Thank y'all for being here. Tell me a little bit about something about yourself. Write it in the chat. Something about yourself in the chat. All right, here we go. Cool. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shuffle these cards just like I did, and I'm going to put them into this spread. All right, so I'm gonna take that deck there. I'm gonna go on this side long. I'm going on this side tall. I'm gonna go on this side right here in the middle. And from here, I'm gonna go take that one and this one. Okay. So these are my cards that I'm using for that. And there will be a special message at the end. Special message. I always mess that word up. Anyway, moving right along. That's part of it, so you know it's coming. Don't forget about it. It's gonna be good. All right, and now let's take some cards here. Let's do that one. Middle, top. Sure, why not that one? Okay, and then we get one here, and then another here, and then we're gonna do one on the bottom of this one, and then we're gonna do, let's go to the top of this one here, and sure, why not? Perfect. All right, and also this is the start to the last message. Boom. Okay, now what I have set up here is the dove. These are the mindsets. These are supporting cards as to why, and then we'll move on down the line. All right, looks like Battlestar Galactica, but I call it the Dove. Gotta make it a little prettier. Okay. There we are. How beautiful does this look? I'll bring it back into focus a little bit. Okay. Fine. That's fine. I will. It's just as necessary. Okay. All right. Cool. Little frozen beans. Now, let us explore the reunion vision for the divine masculine. Yes? Okay. Now, top 2 perspectives of the divine masculine as it relates to the reunion. Getting together. Oh man. The divine masculine is happy, relieved, and owes you gratitude for bringing them out of their constantly thinking state and bringing them through to who they are entirely as an entire being, rather than just the potential of who they could have been. So the divine masculine is thankful that you brought them to their fullness, and that you maintained and did not accept anything less than their fullness. So the perspective of the divine masculine for the reunion vision is a sense of positive pride gratitude and thankfulness to the divine feminine for staying the course, for staying in their power, for not accepting anything less than what they knew to be their truth. The fact that they had a divine masculine characterized by qualities that excite and attract the divine feminine. This is right here the main perspective of the divine masculine as it pertains to the reunion. When they get there, when that time comes, they will be overflowing with joy, overflowing with gratitude for the divine feminine, because the divine feminine was the beacon, continues to be the beacon, was the beacon, is the beacon, and will continue to be the beacon that shows the divine masculine the way. This right here is how I feel currently being with Fiery Grace. The fact that she did not accept anything less than who she knew would be her perfect counterpart for the purpose of spreading the light. Nothing I did, nothing I attempted, and it wasn't even a malicious attempt, it was just how I was by nature, because of my inactivity in my own life and my indecisions in my own life. And again, being up here, being all up in the thought process, but never doing anything action wise, never putting any of my thoughts into work. So I had all the potential in the world, but none of it was doing anybody any good, my divine feminine included. And she understood that and used discernment to say that even though I was somebody that was physically who she wanted and sometimes showed that mentally was who she deserved, it wasn't, she did not forego knowing that she needed a proper partner just because I was attractive to her, or just because I showed her a glimpse of something that resembled something she wanted. There was an increase in her discernment over the time that I knew her, and it continues to grow, and it's increasing. Watching her discernment increase is helping my discernment increase. So this is the same thing that's going to happen for your divine masculine. By you doing your thing, by you doing you, by you being in your essence, this is what pulls the divine masculine. That same thing that I tell you video after video is the right thing to do. That is the feeling that your divine masculine chases. That is, the divine masculine is always watching you. Always watching you. And that's why it's important to be on your P's and Q's at all times. Because the energy, the focus, it's felt some way, somehow. It might not be as direct as you would imagine it to be or hope it would be, but it does get felt. Pressure gets felt by the divine masculine. So that's why it's so important to maintain, cultivate, and maintain the discernment necessary to keep yourself out of the snares that are just waiting there for you because the discernment isn't where it needs to be. There are traps all over the place, and discernment helps to avoid these traps and get you to the finish line quicker, get you to the goal of expressing yourself through the spirit of truth quicker. The divine masculine is always thinking about you. Always. Even now, when they're out there, they're maneuvering in the world as a part of the world, they're still thinking about you, right? And I know this for a fact. They're thinking about you because they are always constantly measuring themselves up to who you saw them as, because nobody else in the world has viewed them as the way you have viewed them. And that rubs them in a way that shows it. Like the picture in my head that I'm trying to describe is like somebody covered in charcoal almost, and then you just came and wiped away like their face with a wet nap, and it showed their beautiful skin underneath, and they never knew it was there. They always just thought they were this tarred, just unattractive and vile type of individual. And they weren't wrong, but they're also not completely right. But the fact that they think that about themselves puts them in the redundancy of who they are right now. But you showing them that part of themselves and seeing that part of themselves when they could not, that is why they're always thinking about you, because you saw them. You saw them as an individual, not as a product of what the environment around them, the people around them, and what the world around them has done to them. But you saw them as an individual, as you saw them as like a blank slate, even though they come with baggage and mental deficiencies sometimes, and not even mental deficiencies like handicap, just mental deficiencies in the way that they think about themselves, which ultimately makes them act the way that they do, is how they think about themselves, how they relate to the world around them. That's why they act the way that they do. So regardless of all that, what I'm saying is that not regardless, but because of all that, what I'm saying is that they are always thinking about you, because you showed yourself to be a different level person when you saw them for who they were. When you saw the potential in them, nobody else has seen that, or nobody else has cared to see it, or nobody else has seen it and mentioned it and said something about it and said that they can do better or live in that potentiality, therefore making it kinetic energy and making things happen from it. Nobody else has taken them that far. Nobody else has seen them that much except for you. So again, I say that your divine masculine is always thinking about you. And that initial moment when you first saw them for who they are and could be was the initial moment that you won them. Okay? And there's still work to be done by the universe on this individual, but your confidence in your ability to see through this person to the heart and core of this person is the reason that they even started on this new part of the journey. Okay? So the thing to do is to be the person you were and grow in that person more, that saw through to that and understood that that person right then wasn't the one to be in that position right then, but they had the potential to be in that position. As long as time and patience is used to allow this person to put what you know, who they are, into the world, then once they start moving it from potential energy into energy that there's actually something being done with, that point. But this potential energy state, that's where they are before they get to that mark. That's where they are before they get to putting it into the world. And when they start putting it into the world, that's when they become a suitable suitor. But not a moment before then. Okay. Now, this card is kind of, okay, let me see this one. Let me go see how. This is the Queen of Water. It says relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. This is God's hand in it. This is God's hand in it. Understanding that you wanted this and that it was for you. However, it still needed time. But this is the reason right here that you are winning, that you have won, that you're in the position you're in now with this reading as it pertains to the divine masculine in the reunion. It's because you were empathetic. Look at that. Tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Because you maintain these four qualities, this is what propels the divine masculine from this state into taking the next step. Into taking the next step, which is again, being who they are in the world while still being separate from the world. It's a delicate balance here. It's a real thin rope, thin walk on the rope, but still thin rope to walk on. However, when the proper focus is applied, there needs to be no worry about what's on the left and the right. Everything will be attuned to walking on that rope. Those who fall off the rope or don't know the rope is there, they are of no benefit to the kingdom anyway, yet. They will be brought to in time. But the four qualities that has put you in the position to where you are now in reunion or union for the first time, whichever one, union or reunion. The four qualities that got you there is being tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Those are the four qualities. God saw this in you. God saw these qualities in you, saw you working on these qualities, saw you maintaining these qualities. Also saw what you were very interested in and merged the two. Because you did what you were supposed to do and allowed time by patience and loving, and being empathetic and understanding that the divine masculine needed time to transition from thinking to doing. Because all of that happened and you allowed the time to pass, it's no wonder why it worked out. It's no wonder why it worked out. Your strength in the spirit allowed you to trust the fact that you knew the divine masculine was going to end up with you all along. Period. All right, let's get some clarifying cards here. Yup. Action. We see forceful. We see precise. We see zeal. We see all the qualities of someone that is on their way to being ready for union. This is second to this. First, they gotta think about the impact, and then they gotta apply the impact. That's what's gotta happen. And again, this is who they have become now because of the discernment of the divine feminine. Because of the discernment of the divine feminine, it upgraded the divine masculine. And right here, it's showing that the stickativity to the passion, to the desire, to the journey itself, as it was given to you, is the reason why God put it all together for you. Is the reason why divine put it all together for you. Because you showed the qualities, you showed divine qualities, tenderheartedness, empathetic, patient, loving. You showed these qualities. And these are the same qualities that allow you to take the pressure off of wondering where the divine masculine is, and allows you to focus on the fact that you know they're coming because the universe said it. The universe has determined that the divine feminine has a divine masculine and that they are to be together to spread the light through the world. It is known. So knowing that and turning from anything else that is not that is exactly what has brought this situation about, has brought their reunion together. This is the most beautiful thing that I could deliver to you because it's showing you a future of the same actions that I tell you about in every video. These are showing that proper application of you and your thoughts is going to bring together this entire thing, period. The union it's going to be brought together by tenderheartedness, your ability to be empathetic, patient, and loving. That's what it's going to come down to. Nothing else. Worrying is not on the list. Helping is not on the list. You help by helping yourself. You help by staying in your divinity. You help by turning from all that is not serving you, which most of the time is an unawakened divine masculine. But once they turn that corner, and they get away from being so cerebral all the time, and they start taking what they're thinking about and putting it into action, oh man, the world is going to benefit. You're going to benefit. I'm going to benefit as a brother in the spirit of truth. Everybody benefits from this type of individual. Everybody benefits from this type of individual, right? The divine masculine is grateful to the divine feminine for using the discernment in order for the divine masculine to continue to grow by understanding that what they were doing was not enough to keep the divine feminine interested, because they were not using their potential that they had. They were not implementing all that they were supposed to implement, that they were given by God, by divine, by source, by the powers that be, to be a playmaker in this world. And as a result of that, they had to shift in order to be prepared for union. They had to upgrade in order to be prepared for union. They had to move away from this and move into this in order to get into union. They had to. They could not, they cannot, even though they have all this potential, even though they look the part. This person will never serve in the kingdom. They cannot, because they are not about action, they're about thinking. But as soon as they bring that action from above to below here on earth, oh man, it's on and pop-a-lopping, baby. You understand me? So it's all about these four qualities. These four qualities. That's what it's about. And it's about trusting that and having faith in that and moving and having your actions be that of the kingdom. And that is what is going to make somebody align with that here, or move away from that because they can't keep up. Either one is good for you. Either one brings you closer to your divine masculine, right? So we see that here in the reunion vision, that the reason they have come to the point, the reason that they're at where they're at right now, the reason that y'all were able to be in this reunion together in this union, is because of your discernment and because of their awareness that they have to do instead of just act or think. They have to do. They have to do. So again, the gratitude to the divine feminine for allowing them to see that through the discernment and through not accepting anything less than somebody that's moving with the same type of passion that they are, same type of desire, same type of vigor, same type of fervency in this world. That's what allowed the divine masculine to step up into now being in position for the reunion. Okay, now let's check here on the sides. Matter of fact, let's get two more here. The Knight of Swords is much more equipped to give and much more equipped to readily take, accepting and being understanding, and not being where they are right now, which is, or where they used to be rather, which is not being comfortable with taking anything or not being properly aligned with the universe to be accepting the blessings that the universe is ready for them. And we see again over here, we see a powerful lineup with the King, Queen, and Ace right here. Again. The Queen, the essence of the divine feminine needs to always be focused on the reason that they're here, the reason that you're here. And it is not to be booed up. It's to make sure that you have somebody that can work and produce just as much as you can, if not more. And your patience allow them to see that they needed to do more and become a different type of character overall. Really and truly, they went from being like a thinker to a doer. A thinker to a doer. And that is the difference between everybody that's doing and everybody that's not doing. The upgrade here, shown here, is allowed to happen by them positioning themselves. And they position themselves because where they were positioned was not enough for the divine feminine. So they had to reposition themselves and realize that, yeah, action is good, but a little bit more is needed. All right, I'm ready to properly align myself to what's needed now. Okay, cool. So now we can get the level up. Now you're working with the mindset that you're supposed to. Now you're in the proper realm to receive a counterpart that's doing the same thing that can help you along the way do more, do better. This is the sauce. You see it, the progression here in the growth, because who they were, even though they had potential, it wasn't up to par. It wasn't quite there yet. They needed to continue to change and grow. They needed to continue to level up, which by the discernment of the divine feminine was given, which allowed them to see that even though they had upgraded, that they weren't yet in perfect position, but they were on the way. They kept going because of the discernment. And now look at them. Now look at how they leveled up. Look at why they leveled up, because they're focused now on the correct thing, which is the same thing that the divine feminine was focused on the entire time, that they were trying to get the divine masculine to focus on, but it was for the divine masculine to come to on their own. And that's why patience was so necessary. That's why tenderheartedness is so necessary. That's why loving is so necessary. And on the bottom here, it says, care for yourself. It says yourself and others, not others and yourself. That's why you gotta make sure that you're in your divinity before you go out trying to help the divine masculine, because in helping the divine masculine, we realize we're not being empathetic to their situation, because true empathy means that even though it sucks that they have to go through what they gotta go through, that they have to go through it. If not, they'll never become their fullest self, right? So true empathy and tenderheartedness for the divine masculine is not trying to help them, but understanding that they must go through it in order to become who they need to be, not only for themselves, but then for you, right? Because again, the thing is to care for yourself, then others. And that same thing applies to the divine masculine. If we're talking about twin flames, they're not caring for themselves situation, and therefore they cannot care for others. Here, it's a little bit better. We see a little bit of service, right? But we need them to be aligned properly. We need them to want to align themselves to undertake more responsibility. The more responsibility an individual has, the more of themselves that they are. Because the divine masculine realizes themselves in serving others and doing for others. But they have to do for themselves first, because they're no good to anybody, as you know, by past experiences, that they're no good to anybody in this scenario or in this state. So patience, patience, patience. And what allows somebody to be patient is trust. Trust is what allows an individual to be patient. Trust in what? Trust in the laws that of the universe that move these things into place by no thought of yours at all. Faith in that. Trust in that. Trust in the universal laws, that the universe is perfect and does not mess up. Trust in that. That is what you trust in. That is how you properly position yourself, just like the divine masculine properly positions themselves when they realize that they're not being able to do it on their own, that they need the focus, that they need a purpose, and that purpose only comes from the Creator. But until that, they're trying to figure it out themselves. And we see what type of position that leaves them in. But again, when they're doing it for themselves and they run into the divine feminine who realizes, hey, yeah, this is attractive, but at the same time, it's nowhere near what I need. So then discernment is used, and then this person levels up. The person levels up. They have to. The only reason they don't have to is because whoever they're around, by actions of being in front of their face all the time, or always in constant communication, or always readily available for this person, says that who they are is okay. Even though it's not. So, the vision. The vision is beautiful. We see all these positive cards. We see that the reason for the transition is the strength and determination of the divine feminine to stay in the purpose, stay in the power, stay in the spirit of truth, stay in the light, and to refuse the notion to leave the post in the light, to travel to the darkness, to pull the divine masculine out. Because we know that the divine masculine is being worked on, and that all is needed of the divine feminine is patience. Patience and care for yourself. All right. So again, with the way it is, with these cards the way they're laid down, the divine masculine is more than grateful. Almost owes you their entire life, because you switched them from who they were before into somebody that is a suitable suitor for you. And you did that via all of the fruits of the spirit: tenderheartedness, the ability to be empathetic, patient, and loving. That is how this was accomplished. By no other means was this accomplished other than trust in the universe and properly positioning the divine masculine and the divine feminine, properly positioning themselves to receive from the universe. And that means being a vessel for the universe. The divine masculine, because of the discernment of the divine feminine, understood that and went from being a thinker all the time to now being a doer. Perfect. So when we become a doer, we position ourselves for the universe to give us more. Excellent. Now we understand that that's what's doing it. Now there's only need to increase and do more. Why? So we can be in the flow, doing what we were supposed to do, living out our purpose for being here, for being placed here, which is to be a counterpart and what's the word I'm looking for? A perfect helper. A perfect helper. This is a two peas in a pod type situation. This is in order for this to be in its fullness, both of you need to be together, right? Both of you need to be together. But what stops that is thinking that you're not going to be together, or that this person will never get their life together, because we see obviously they will. We see, even if they got to take kind of a detoured route, right? Go drop down and then go around. Either way, if they keep pushing forward, and the only way they're going to push forward is if they're striving for something. Striving for what? Striving for the attention of the divine feminine. That's going to propel them into where they need to be in order to get that attention from the divine feminine. Who they need to be in order to get that attention from the divine feminine. And I didn't even notice at first. But Queen of Water is Queen of Cups, and then I got the King of Cups right here, right up under. And then attached to that is also the Six of Cups, which is the ability to receive, which is just as important as the ability to give, depending on where you are in that equation. However, there is a point where the receiver becomes the giver only when they continue to upgrade, which they did because of the discernment of the divine feminine telling them that they needed to, because what they were doing was not enough. Thinking about it is not enough. It's not okay just to think about it. Thinking about it is splendid, great, but then comes deed, then comes doing. If nothing follows, what good is it? If you think about planting and farming but don't ever plant or farm, you can't give flowers or food to anybody that needs it. So your thinking about it is no good. But again, the divine feminine understood that this was going to be the divine masculine until something changed in their environment that they actually cared about, which is the divine feminine. So by the divine feminine, again, patience and loving help the divine masculine transform. All right? There's no other way to help the divine masculine. There is no other way to help the divine masculine. There is no other way to help the divine masculine. Just wanted to make sure I put that out there. All right. Now, let's see here. Let's see what's on this side. 3 of water. That's 3 of cups. Party! Why? Because your discernment is off the Richter scale, DF. Huh? Props to you. Props to you. The reason that you can celebrate and be happy with yourself is because you did the absolute right thing. You did the absolute right thing, which is being patient, loving, and trusting that the universe is going to bring this person to where they need to be. To where they need to be. Again, if they are that person. If they are that person. I feel like a lot of times people get disheartened when they don't think that this is the divine. If this is not your divine masculine that you're thinking about right now, then this is your real divine masculine. And that's, I don't want you to be disheartened at any point, because by you being disheartened, at default shows a lack of trust and a lack of faith and a lack of patience. All right? So make sure you, if you're falling into worry, that you pick yourself back up, because you are going to be victorious in this as long as you do the right thing. The right thing is to be patient and be loving. Love is patient. Love is patient. Love doesn't hold any grudges. Love doesn't do any of that. Love is patient as long as it takes. As long as it takes. All right, let's see on this side. Whoa, nice, bruh. Knight of Swords, Knight of Swords. Come on now. Look at that Sinky. Sinky. All right. It's this is just reiterating the fact that a doer, somebody that thinks about things and then puts them into action, is who the universe is bringing this divine masculine to be. Over here, this is, none of this has your involvement in it. Your only involvement in this entire spread is to be patient, empathetic, loving, and tender-hearted, and use discernment. That is your only play here. And properly position yourselves if you want to take a piece of this card. But the rest of this is the universe working on the divine masculine, as I have said that it does continuously. Even while you sleep, the universe continues to work. So what makes you think that it's not working when you're trying to work on it, right? So understanding that the universe is more powerful than you are, why not allow the universe to do the dirty work on your behalf? It is dirty work. Don't even play yourself. It's been dirty work so far. You have not been enjoying yourself as it pertains to pulling the divine masculine from the darkness into moving into the light. It's a dirty job. So understanding that the universe is a little bit more powerful, why not allow the universe to do what it's going to do anyway and release your own frustration of trying to do it yourself and use your discernment instead? That would seem to be the best solution, because the universe is working. God wants this magician to be the Knight of Swords. You see, 5D deck, Knight of Swords. Knight of Air is the Swords card. God wants this for them. It's great that you want it too, but it's the job of the universe to work on this person and bring them into the union, which it is going to happen. You couldn't stop it if you tried. How about that? How about that? You couldn't stop getting into union if you tried. The only way, there's only one thing you can do. I retract my previous statement. There's only one thing that you can do to not get into union, and that's to be in your own way, which is the very same thing, ironically, that the divine masculine has to do, is get out of their own way. Because this thinking process is them in their own way. How do you know? Because that was me. I fight that every day. When I think about something, I think about how to apply it now, rather than just thinking about it. Why? Because that doesn't serve anybody. The spirit of truth does not get glorified by thoughts. It gets glorified by things happening in the world and then attributing it to the spirit of truth. That is how glory is made. That is how successes are attached to things. So again, the universe wants this for your divine masculine, and it will bring them to it when they position themselves. When they position themselves and they become who God wants them to be, then they can be exalted. Then they can be brought up even higher than they were before, from a knight to a king. Why? Because they are chasing the spirit, figuring out what to do in the name of the spirit. That's why. That's why all the riches and glory can be bestowed upon them now, because they're going to do the right thing with it. They're going to give it to the people rather than thinking about what to do with it. Oh yeah, maybe that'd be nice. Ooh, maybe I could do that. It don't mean jack up there. It doesn't mean anything. We got to bring it into the real world. Right? We got to bring it into the real world. As a divine masculine, I understand this. This is what's going to happen for all divine masculines if they so choose to properly position themselves, as I did. That's the only difference between your divine masculine and me. I choose to move with the spirit of truth. I choose to try to be different, to try to be set apart, because that is what the spirit of truth requires in order for somebody to be their fullest self. I want to be my fullest self. I was only tricking myself over here thinking that I wasn't my fullest self. You see what I said there? I was only tricking myself over here thinking that I was my fullest self rather than being my fullest self, which is exactly the same thing that the universe wants. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see on this side. We're seeing assessment. Assessment is what drove this. Assessment of the situation of who they were versus who you needed them to be versus what would recapture your attention in them. And it allowed them to take a step back. It allowed them to take a step back because they got too far ahead of themselves in the 7 of Cups, and they got to take a step back and go to the 6 of Cups so that they can be properly positioned in order to move down the course, down the line. Divine wants this. God wants this. Universal intelligence wants your divine masculine to be a key player in the fight with the darkness. They need to be, they cannot fight the darkness if they are the darkness. That's why they need to align with the spirit of truth, align with what we know to be the truth, which is the fact that light is what brings people into fullness. Light is what brings people into fullness. Understanding that is going to reposition the divine masculine to be in line with who they are, which is always under the fact that we're here for an absolute purpose. An absolute purpose. Let's jump in the middle here. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Earth. The inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. Okay, this is telling me that this assessment is going to allow them to see the opportunity that has been given to them. The opportunity to see where they're at now, to see that they're overwhelmed right now, to see that they can never be who they are supposed to be with the way that they are now, overwhelmed by the cups instead of being the king of cups, right? There needs to be an upgrade in the divine masculine, but they are not going to upgrade and get to this stage unless the divine feminine continues to use discernment. Unless the divine feminine continues to use discernment, the divine masculine will not get better and will not make it into union. The only thing that helps the divine masculine make it into union is themselves properly positioning themselves for the spirit of truth and the divine feminine's discernment. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I said that. So we see that the difference between this individual and this individual is understanding the opportunity. Understanding the opportunity and assessing it and not being overwhelmed by it, by not knowing themselves, by lacking the light themselves. Take a step back, get into alignment, boom. That's how it works. Three of Cups is your card to maintain your joy and your happiness, because the way you can do that is by understanding that throughout this time, the divine masculine was worked on by the universe, and that you didn't have to worry or didn't have to put any extra attention on what's happening in their journey, because you understand that it's all for their benefit. It's all to get them to who God wants them to be. It's all to bring them into a position of power and glory, because that's what the universe wants for its individuals. All right, let's see here, moving forward. Victories. Victories over the adversaries, over the opposition. We see somebody that is reclaiming and regaining themselves, ultimately. When we see the swords, we see the mind, we see thoughts, we see thought patterns. So when I see that an individual is reclaiming these things, I see somebody that is now filling themselves with light, somebody that's moving into alignment. That's what I see when I see this card. I see somebody rising above others to get their victory, but not doing it in a malicious way, but taking back their own mental faculties that put them in a position that they were in. And that's made true by this card here. So all we see down the line, moving down the line, that what helped and what is the only thing that helps is the discernment of the divine feminine and the divine masculine reclaiming themselves, and not only being a thinker, but also a doer. An doer is aligned with the spirit of truth to receive things from the universe. And that person, once they continue to do with what has been given, will be given more, because that is the purpose of why they are here. Likewise, the same thing as the purpose of why you're here. It is your bottom line as to why you're here, for the purpose of the universe. What's the purpose of the universe? To spread the light to the dark, to illuminate the individuals that have been robbed by their own mental processes of the joy and wonder of the world. It has been robbed from them by them, and they don't know it. And the way you show it to them is going to get them back into union with you, which is discernment. 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 All right, so I'm going to pull a couple cards here. Matter of fact, I already got one over here. All right, now I want to see what this cat says here. And if I need to clarify, I'll pull another one. All right, but we see here overall that discernment, tenderheartedness, the ability to be empathetic, patient, and loving is what is going to make all of this work on both sides, for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. For the divine feminine, care for yourself, have fun, enjoy your life. Do you know how sad your story is going to be if it is determined for your divine masculine to come towards the later part of your life, and you would have essentially wasted all of the time until your divine masculine got there? And I don't feel like that's truly using your discernment. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but waiting around for somebody doesn't seem like you're doing anything. It seems like you're thinking about the moment that they come to you. So it seems like there needs to be a shift if that is the case. There's always something to do. There should never be really any time to sit and ponder about what somebody else's life is happening, right? Because there's so much happening in your life. It takes all of your focus to figure out what's going on in your life, let alone try to figure out what's going on in somebody else's. So my suggestion would be to focus on yourself enough to make sure that you're in a positive space. And that only happens when you're not looking at what the divine masculine has to go through by using discernment. All right. Queen of Earth, Pentacles. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Take a sensible approach. I'm going to see that one more time. Take a sensible approach. All right. Now this is my divine deck. So take a sensible approach to me is saying that you've tried it one way for a while. You've tried your own hand at changing the mind of the divine masculine or changing the trajectory of the divine masculine. Take a sensible approach. Take a different approach this time. See what happens when you allow the universe to work on your behalf, since it is more powerful than you. See what happens. Because again, I'm telling you, the cards are telling you, and life tells you that God, universe, universal intelligence wants to bring the divine masculine into a position of power. That's what the universe says. That's what these cards say. So allow the universe to do its job. And you do your job. Your job is to what? Use discernment. Be in your essence, having fun. And another queen down here. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. Empathetic, tenderheartedness, patient, loving. So again, all of this, all of my 5D cards are telling you exactly what you already know intuitively to be true, which is the fact that it's going to work out. You got to give it time. That you should try something different to what you have been doing, and that you should be enjoying yourself regardless of if somebody else is not enjoying themselves. That's what all my cards are telling you. Ace of Earth tells me that this is an opportunity. The entire thing is an opportunity, regardless of what it appears to be. It is an opportunity. And that if you see it as anything else other than an opportunity, it will feel just like that. Like anything else but an opportunity. But it is. And it's an opportunity for you to take your hands off the wheel and allow universal intelligence to guide this individual. All right, let's see here. Look, even the 3D message is balance and moderation. Again, I think this relates to a sensible approach and balance and moderation, and how much you try to think about the divine masculine, or think about their path, or think about their struggles, or think about their hardships, or think about their growth. Moderation is key, because too much thinking about things other than yourself is going to leave you in a not so desirable position. All right. Okay. That seemed like a good place to drop it on. Drop the mic. Yeah. All right. For real though, I love you guys so much. And I hope that you allow this information to help you, because this reading, this reunion vision reading here, it shows the future steps and what it took in order for the divine masculine to make it back to you, right? In order to make it to you in the first place, however you want to look at it. I believe in reunion in this lifetime. So we see that it is ordained, it is written, it is decided that the divine masculine should be a man, woman, person of action, individual of action. It is what the universe wants for this individual. The only thing, again, I'm telling you, the only thing that's stopping this person is their own mind. The same way the only thing that stops you from using your discernment is your own mind, thinking that you know better than your discernment. Your discernment is there for you to use, to utilize. It's there for a reason. When your spidey senses tingle, do not ignore them. When the red flags go up, look at them, assess them. You know intuitively if you are in your Queen of Wands or not. You know intuitively if you are following your passion, desire or not. You know intuitively if you are putting yourself in a position to be happy or not, joyful or not, peaceful or not. You're aware. You're aware. It's up to you to make a choice, just like it's up for the divine masculine to make a choice. The universe wants it, and you want it, I want it. The only person that seems to not want it is this type of divine masculine. But you, with your discernment, help them out of this and help them into this, into the flow. To take them from where they need to start to where they need to end up in happiness and joy. Just like where you naturally are all the time when you decide to use your discernment. Balance and moderation. Even for the divine masculine, here with the Seven of Cups, taking it a step back. Balance and moderation. Got too much going on. Need to take a step back. Go back to the Six of Cups and properly position yourself. How do you properly position yourself, divine masculine? By doing what the universe has set out for you. By becoming who the universe has set out for you. That's when you properly position yourself. And then this is the equation to get the upgrade, to get the promotion, to get on par with the divine feminine, because both of them are focused on the purpose, the reason for being here, the reason for being here. All right. Cool little frozen beans. I love you guys so much. Visit MrLightWork.com. If you're going to get a reading, I say get a reading from me so you can get a reading from the Spirit of Truth. Get a reading from Grace. We are both with the Spirit of Truth. We leave you feeling good, optimistic, hopeful, ready. We give you a plan. All of these things are necessary. What's more necessary than all of that is your frame of mind. This information can and will help you if you let it. See you guys next time. Love.